Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Learning to Ski or Snowboard. This is where I'm supposed to tell you what the course is about, but I'm going to start by telling you what the course is not about. I will not be teaching you to ski or snowboard. Nope. Will not tell you to keep your knees bent. If you're on skis, keep your weight forward. Won't say that at all. Well, I just did, but that's the last time. So, why wouldn't I do this given the topic of this course? I think trying to teach someone to ski or snowboard from a video would be a huge mistake. Skiing and snowboarding are very complex movements involving the entire body. When you first start out, there are a lot of things you can and probably will be doing wrong. As a beginner, your ability to diagnose yourself will be very limited. When you first start out, you'll probably know something is wrong because you keep falling and getting up. Worse yet, once you've been out a few times, you may think everything's great because you're not falling as much, but yet you're developing a lot of bad habits. Just watching a video, you might think you're doing what's on the video, but you're doing something completely different. In addition, there are a number of exercises you can do to try to improve. Will you be able to pick the right exercise and know that you're doing it properly? Probably not. I would strongly advocate that you get professional instruction. Professional instructors will be able to diagnose your problems, explain your problems to you, explain an exercise that will help improve you, and tell you if you're doing the exercise properly. In addition, professional instructors prioritize the problems that they see. They give you one or at most two things to work on at a time. In the course of a 1-hour lesson, you might work on only 3 things. They're not going to give you 10 things to work on. They're good at teaching. One problem that beginners often have is they see teaching, getting professional instruction as an unnecessary expense. They have friends who already ski or snowboard. Why not let their friends teach them? The problem is that just because someone can ski or snowboard doesn't mean they can teach it, right? I can do arithmetic. I'm not a math teacher. Go to a professional to get your instruction. Okay, given that I won't be teaching skiing or snowboarding, what will I be teaching? Well, all sorts of things. For example, what you must buy, what you might buy, and what you should definitely avoid buying before you go out for the first time. That's worth the price of this class right there. I'll be going over how to save money on the slopes. I'll be going over what to do first, second, and third when you go to the slopes for the very first time. I'll be going over the key requirements of clothing for skiing and snowboarding. If your friends say, hey, let's go to XYZ this weekend, we can take you along. You can say, let me look at a trail map. You'll be able to say, that looks good, or no, I don't think so. Your friends will be impressed to even know what a trail map is, let alone know how to read one. So, why am I a good person to teach this class? Well, I do ski and I've snowboarded a few times. More importantly, I've led beginners trips for my ski club. I've been in charge of beginner ski education. I've skied on 4 continents, and I've created and taught a number of classes. So, on to the class. Obviously, there are a number of reasons someone might want to take up skiing or snowboarding, and you must have at least one in mind if you're watching this video, but let's go over some anyway, shall we?
So, why would someone take up snowboarding or skiing? Well, first off, it's fun out there. The first few times, there's the fun of trying something new. After that, there's the fun of getting better. I remember when I first started skiing at a small local resort, overlooking the very flat beginners area that I was in were some intermediate slopes. And I would look up at those skiers doing the intermediate runs, and I could not believe it was humanly possible to do that. One day, I eventually did one, and I felt like I'd conquered Mount Everest. After that, once you can do at least intermediate runs, there's the fun of exploring whole resorts. You're no longer stuck in one small beginner's area. You can go explore. And always there's the fun of being with friends. Some of the best memories of my life are out exploring new areas in a new ski resort with friends on a beautiful sunny day. Looks like that's what they're doing. Also, there's lots of great food and great views at most ski areas in the restaurants. Afterwards, there's après-ski, which means after ski. That was invented in Europe, but we Americans do a pretty good job. I guess this also brings up vacation photos. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend money to see someone else's vacation photos? So let me show you some of mine. That's Aspen, Colorado. There's me in France. There's me in Canada. Oh, that's the Matterhorn at sunset. And that is me next to some blue glacier ice in over my head in more ways than one on the world's longest ski run in France. Oh, and that is a ski resort near Sapporo, Japan. I really like that photograph. I'm probably a little better photographer than average, but most people's ski photographs turn out looking very good for a couple of reasons. The first is that snow makes everything look good, right? If you take the snow away from this photograph, what do you have? Barren trees, mud, and dead leaves. If you take, let's say, an average hotel parking lot, not very attractive. Cover it with snow. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. The second reason that photographs taken when you're snowboarding or skiing look good is that you've taken a lift up to the top of the mountain where you have a much better view. Photo of friends, nice. Photo of friends on top of a mountain, nicer. When you bring back photographs from your vacation, non-skiers may well think that you have somehow found the most beautiful place on earth no matter where you took them. I'm not emphasizing that taking nice photographs is more important than enjoying life. Frankly, when I see people on ski resorts who are constantly taking selfies, videoing themselves from every angle as they go down the slopes, I find that disturbing. But I am saying that if you're in a place where you can point a camera in almost any direction and take a beautiful photograph, it must be a beautiful place. And who wouldn't want to spend the day in a beautiful place? More reasons. Exercise, strength, endurance, and balance. Work on all of those. Great reason to travel. Another thing is that particularly if you're still in school, it can be your thing. When you're in school, there are the smart kids, there are the football players, there are the artistic kids. You can be the one who looks great on the slopes. Reasons not to take up the sport. Fear of injury or death. Those are actually surprisingly unlikely. If you want proof of that, go to any resort on a crowded day and go into the first aid area where they treat people who have been injured. There will be thousands and thousands of people on the slopes. When you go in there, there might be a few people, there might be no one. On any given day, if you go out skiing or snowboarding, there's about a 0.2% chance of being injured and requiring medical attention. If you're talking about things like bruises, yes, you will probably be bruised, particularly if you're learning to snowboard. That happens a lot, but serious injuries are surprisingly unlikely. People do die on the slopes, surprisingly unlikely as well. In fact, you're more likely to die from running than you are from skiing or snowboarding. Another reason people don't like the sport or want to take it up is I hate the cold. In my mind, they simply don't have the right equipment. Layers, layers, layers. Another reason is it's too expensive. Okay, I'm going to be honest here. This is not the world's cheapest sport, right? If you don't get any discounts, a one-day ticket at Vail can be as high as $165. If everyone on a basketball court had to spend $165 to be there, the basketball courts would be empty. There are lots of ways to save money, though, and we'll be going over those. Another thing that scares people away is they think they're not physically able to do it. This depends on what you mean by physically able. Here's someone racing with only one leg. Here's someone not using legs at all. I was in the Park City Mountain Resort, which is the home of the National Ability Center in Utah, and I was passed by a very good snowboarder, and going down to his snowboard were two metal tubes. He had no legs whatsoever, and he looked way better on the slopes than I ever will. So it is certainly possible to do that. These people are, however, in good physical condition. If you have any sort of chronic medical problem, for example, a back problem, you probably want to talk to a doctor before risking a fall. And if you are in kind of physical condition where, let's say, walking up one flight of stairs is extremely difficult, or if, let's say, when you get down on the ground, you have a lot of difficulty getting up, If you have a hard time getting up from the floor in your living room, when we put a lot of equipment on you and put you on snow, it will be impossible. You will need help to get up. You just need to be aware of that. Again, you might want to check with your doctor in those circumstances. Otherwise, you should get out on the slopes. Okay, on to the rest of the course.